challenge him to reach for new heights. I give you Steve Janowiak.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Dean Gibbons, Dr. K, esteemed faculty, parents and friends, and of course, a huge congratulations to the graduating class of 2012. You guys made it. It's great. My purpose today is not to tell you some amazing story that would rival the Iliad. What I'd rather do is share with you 3 ideas that have formed the foundation for achieving successes in my life, and perhaps you can use them in yours. As you know, earning a degree from here is not easy. When I did it, many sacrifices had to be made. Today's tough economy, success is becoming more and more difficult to achieve. These 3 ideas, which I actually learned outside the classroom, are idea number 1. Compete against yourself. First and foremost, let me give you my definition of success. I do not believe success is measured with money. Money is oftentimes a result following success. My definition of success is challenging yourself and overcoming your own self-perceived obstacles. There is no tougher opponent than yourself. Think about it. We're always trying to measure ourselves against other people. It's what our society has ingrained in us to do. To be really successful, to reach your own full potential, you cannot strive for the norm. You must shift your thinking into a new pattern. Think about what you perceive yourself as very challenging, even impossible. People who are truly successful have continually measured themselves not against others, but against themselves. Making lots of money, getting first place, graduating first in your class. These are all just products, just results of continually challenge yourself day after day, month after month, year after year. In the words of an ancient Chinese philosopher, Lao Tzu, he who conquers others is strong. He who conquers himself is mighty. Here's when I first started figuring this out. In 1989, I joined the military primarily to test my abilities to see how I could measure up against a set standard. The first day of boot camp, our drill sergeant told us over the next 4 months of training, if anyone received maximum scores on both written and physical tests, it would then receive the Army Achievement Medal and a promotion. I thought to myself, that's what I signed up for. Let's get that medal. So for the next 4 months, I studied late into the nights and trained myself well beyond what my fellow soldiers did. As they were riding home, I was doing push-ups. As they were listening to the radio, I was doing sit-ups. As they were telling stories about back home, I was reading my test materials. I set a goal for myself and committed to doing everything possible to reach it, letting nothing get in my way. What I found out through that process was that ultimately I wasn't trying to measure up to a standard at all. I learned that I wanted to see if I could do it. I wanted to challenge myself. Well, I was successful. I graduated in the top 1% of my class and received that medal and a promotion. That success was a result of not competing against others, but challenging and competing against myself, day in and day out. Which brings me to idea number 2. Set unrealistic, even impossible goals for yourself. In addition to the idea of challenge yourself rather than competing against others, being successful is largely due to setting goals. In the words of Thomas Edison, if we did all the things we are capable of doing, we would literally astound ourselves. Steve Jobs demanded the seemingly impossible from his people at Apple. They actually had a name for this. They called it his reality distortion field, from a now infamous episode of Star Trek, which I never saw, by the way, just to be clear. I challenge you to demand from yourself the seemingly impossible. Create your own reality distortion field. Well, I didn't realize there was a name for it. I actually do this all the time in my life. For example, the Ironman Triathlon is an endurance event where you complete a 2.4-mile swim, followed by a 112-mile bike ride, finishing with a 26.2-mile run, all in one day. In 2008, I signed up to do 2 of these Ironman triathlons in the same week. I wanted to complete this challenge because I had finished a couple single Ironman races previously, and I wanted to continue to push my self-perceived limits. To me, doing 2 Ironman races in the same week seemed like something that was unrealistic, even impossible. Every person I spoke to about this goal told me it was dumb, dangerous, unhealthy, crazy. You name it, they said it. Well, I was successful. I completed both of those Ironman triathlons. Not only did I complete both, despite all of those doubting people around me, but at the second Ironman of that week, I beat my best time by over an hour. Anything is possible. You just have to be willing to do whatever it takes, sacrifice whatever you need to. And in the words of Sugar Ray Robinson, to be a champion, you have to believe in yourself. Nobody else will. Let me tell you something. One of the most empowering feelings you can have is the feeling when you get when you're successful at something you didn't think you could do in the first place. That experience prompted me to coin a new saying I often use now. You have not tasted success until you have succeeded at something you truly thought not possible. And this brings me to idea number 3. Create your own opportunities. We have all heard people say, if I was just given the opportunity, or all I need is to be given a chance. I propose to you that those thoughts are either A, a cop-out from people who don't want to do the hard work, or B, the belief from people who don't fully understand their innate power to create their own opportunities. Here's a simple example of creating my own opportunity that changed my life forever. In my early 20s, I worked at a nightclub. One night, my shift was over at 1 a.m. There were still a few hours left until the nightclub's closed. And we all know when you're early 20s, the nightclubs are still open. It's still time to go out, right? A coworker told me about a guy he met that evening that lived in Paris, France, and was in town for business. He had a limo and was asking about what else is going on in Chicago. So my friend asked me if I wanted to hang out with him. I immediately thought to myself, who is this guy from Paris with a limo? I want to meet him. So I hit the town with this gentleman and his girlfriend. I wanted to know what he did for a living and find out if there was a way I could help him so he would offer me a job and I could move to Paris. That was my goal. Well, as the evening progressed, he and I talked about what he did. He led an organization that held art exhibits all over the world for artists who were members of his organization. He was in Chicago to prepare for an exhibition at a hotel downtown. I asked him what issues he was running into to figure out how I could help him. He said he couldn't afford to hire workers that were recommended to him to hang paintings for the exhibit. That was my chance, I thought. I told him I could absolutely do it for him at a more reasonable cost. Did I know how I would actually do this? No, to be honest, I didn't. But I thought I had a bunch of friends in college that would want to hang paintings for $7 an hour. So I did that. He was ecstatic. So after successfully handling that issue for this gentleman, he told me about another problem he had. He was going to hold an art exhibit in Las Vegas, but needed to find space. I told him, no problem, I'll take care of it. Now I had no idea how to find space for an art exhibit in Las Vegas. Living in Chicago, by the way. I randomly called hotels based on their location on the Las Vegas Strip, and they wanted to charge an exorbitant amount of money. Then I randomly called art galleries to see if they had any empty space or knew of a place to exhibit. Nothing panned out. Then about a week later, the owner of an art gallery at the Forum Shops, which is located in the Caesars Palace, heard about me calling around up and down the strip. He called to ask what was this art exhibit I was asking about. I told him the idea, and he liked it. He said I could hold the event at his gallery, and they would even pay for advertising and get the champagne donated for the opening night. I called the gentleman in France to tell him about it, and he again was absolutely ecstatic. He flew me to Paris so I could meet the organization's board members. Shortly thereafter, he offered me a full-time job in Paris. My job was to go to various cities across the globe where they wanted to hold art exhibits and find space, meet with city and cultural officials, get the event promoted, hold press conferences, etc. We held exhibits in Las Vegas, Chicago, Paris, Prague, Munich, and throughout Europe. It was a fantastic experience. I tell you that story because I think it's a specific example illustrating my third idea, creating your own opportunity. I knew I wanted to move to Paris when I heard about this gentleman, and I figured out a way to make it happen. Was I lucky? Sure. But we all know luck is nothing more than the intersection of opportunity and preparedness. You have a bachelor's degree from one of the most prestigious universities in the United States. You are prepared. Now go out and create your own opportunity. If you know you want something, if you have a goal you want to accomplish, if there's a job that you want, don't wait for someone to give it to you. Create the opportunity for yourself. Be prepared, and you'll create your own luck. This is my message to you. But there's a bonus idea. Success is rarely obtained alone. You can achieve significantly more with the help of others. Which brings me to the last and equally important point I want to make today. Stay connected to this university. As you are all well aware, who you know is a powerful tool and will most certainly contribute greatly to your level of success. Leverage your accomplishment here and stay connected to the university. The alumni network is a very powerful tool, and I would highly recommend you become active, attending alumni events, volunteering to participate in mock interviews, resume review sessions, etc. Give back, help, mentor, volunteer. This will pay dividends, both professionally and personally. So enjoy your incredible accomplishment today. Congratulations, you have made it. Think about everything you had to do to make it here. Thank those who helped you. And remember these 3 ideas. Compete against yourself. Set unrealistic, even impossible goals. Create your own opportunities. I leave you today with one final thought. Each and every one of you have the honor and the privilege of earning a degree from this great university. Now what will you do with it? I say absolutely anything you decide to do for yourself. Now go out there and create your own luck. Thank you.